and we're headed up to Long Island, that big entrepreneur conference. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be some killer people, and we're going to do some big things, man. About to go deep on the concept of prey drive, how to activate something deep inside of a person. And these people on the East Coast love the Southern accent, man. So good to see you, man. We're ready to go. That's really what you're selling at the end of the day. You're not selling a product, you're not selling a service. What you're really selling is a belief, a deep conviction. People do business with other people that believe the same things they do. Because of your conviction, you are now willing to take an action. When in doubt, take an action. You're going to find out through my presentation on this book, Flip the Switch. By the way, this is my 17th book that's coming out to the market. This book almost killed me writing this book, but it is my life's work about how you activate a deep drive inside of a person. How you flip the switch inside of a person, because there's people sitting in this room today who know you have another gear. You know there's another level. You have either gotten to a place of complacency, which is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Any of you send your kids off to school in the morning and you look at them right before they go to school and you say, here's what I want you to do today. I want you to go gradually settle to a place of mediocrity. Nobody's sending the kids off to school this morning. I look at my 9-year-old daughter. When she gets in the car and the last thing I say to her is, sweetheart, we're going to do something big today. And she looks back at me and she says, big, Daddy. See, we got to activate, we got to flip that switch. So at 15 years old, a local baseball coach called me and said, son, I want you to help me coach a junior pro basketball team. Will you help me coach a team? Many times we are turned on to something by somebody. I said, yes. I got dressed up in a suit to coach junior pro basketball. I looked like a little Pat Riley coaching junior pro basketball, and I was so passionate. Irresistible belief for motive or action. I was so passionate that I got ejected from a junior pro basketball game. 3 technical fouls. And I got a standing ovation on the way out, by the way. Not because they liked me, but because they didn't like me. They're like, who is this kid, and who is this passion, and who is this energy? So at that moment at 15, I knew I wanted to coach people for the rest of my life. So for the last 30 years, I've devoted my life to one thing: helping people activate a drive inside of them. We're going to refer to that drive as prey drive. P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E. Now, I got to come out there because I got to look in some people's eyes. For me to coach, can we bring the lights up, please? For me to coach, I got to look you in the eyeball, man. I got to activate something inside of you. So we're going to refer to that prey drive, P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E. And what we're going to do is we're going to start thinking about this drive inside of you, because at probably 38 to 40 years old, I was sitting in a workshop with my wife. And I was in there with a Vietnam veteran of the Vietnam War. And he was in the war dog division of the Vietnam War. Every morning when he woke up, his job was to go into the jungle, ahead of the infantry, ahead of everybody else, and he had an animal with him. He had a dog with him, and the dog's job was to sniff out bombs, booby traps, ambushes. I want you to think about what you do for a living every day. Any day you think it's hard, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about waking up in the middle of a jungle, and it's you and a dog. And that dog's job is to sniff out bombs, booby traps, ambushes, and he kept talking about the dog having a prey drive. And I'm sitting there beside my wife, and I'm like, prey drive, prey drive. What is this concept, prey drive, that he's talking about? So I Google it. And I see that prey drive is an animal's instinct to see something, to pursue it, to kill it, and bring it back home. That is prey drive. And I'm sitting right beside my wife, right? I'm 41 years old. I've been coaching most of my life, right? A decade as a women's basketball coach, building winners from the inside out. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you know what? Humans have a prey drive. It is the human's ability to see something with the eyes, to see it, and to have the persistence and the intensity to pursue it. Humans have a prey drive. Humans have an instinct to go get it. So I'm telling my wife, man, that's what I've been doing my whole life, which is activating the prey drive in people. See, I got my first coaching job at 18 years old. I was 18 years old. I knew I wanted to coach, and I learned something about sales. It said the average sale takes between 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time in the follow-up. 7 to 15 touches. So I'd go down to the elementary school where I went to elementary school, And I said, I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach at this school. And I got objection. What do you think they said at 18? You're too what? Too young. I understand. I came back the next day. Principal comes in. Day number 2. This is the summer. The only person coming into the school was the principal. I'm sitting there on day number 2. The principal comes in. Sir, I'm Coach Burt. I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach of this school. Can I be right? No, insurance. We don't have insurance. Day number 3 comes by, 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm sitting there waiting. Sir, good morning to you. Remember me? Coach Burt. I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach of this school, right? I did this for 14 straight days. On day 14, here's what he said. Kid, you got the job, man. Right? You got the job. And you know what he said? Primarily because nobody else has applied for this job. So I'm coaching at 18 years old like I'm coaching in the NBA. How many of you believe that no matter what level you're at, people are watching, people are observing, people are making a judgment? One of the largest contracts I ever signed, 2 people showed up for a workshop I taught. 2 people. My assistants, they canceled it. I said, no. Did they pay their money? If they paid their money, I'm going to give them everything. I gave them 1 hour, then I gave them an extra hour. On the break, one of the people came up to me and said, man, I love this. You're exactly what we've been looking for. We signed a $450,000 contract from that workshop. Because you always show up no matter what. So when you're sitting there at 18 years old, I'm coaching like I'm coaching in the NBA, man. And I'm coaching every single day. So at 22, I became the youngest head coach in Tennessee at the 2nd largest high school. And I began doing something with my players that nobody else was doing. I began teaching my players the 7 habits of highly effective people. I began teaching my players the principles of good to great. I've been teaching my players the 5 dysfunctions of teams, the power of intention. Imagine your daughter playing for me at 14 years old and spending 5.5 hours a day with me for 4 years. You know what we were producing? Little stone cold killing machines. And around 25 years old, we're winning so many games that people kept asking me, man, what are you doing? What are you doing with these kids? What are you doing with these kids? I said, man, I'm building the whole person. The body, that's physical. The mind, that's mental. The heart, that's emotional. And the spirit, that's spiritual. I'm building all 4 parts of our nature.